There's a school of thought going around that we may be in some sort of simulation or virtual reality. This became a popular idea with the Matrix, but it doesn't really make sense to me because I've been thinking about it for a while. If Neo truly woke up and left the Matrix, then why is he still interacting with the agents? If he did leave the Matrix, wouldn't he be outside of all that? Why would he still be fighting and interacting with Matrix people? I think they hinted about that in the third film. The architect told him something about the five predecessors to him, meaning that he wasn't the only one. I saw a theory about that film. Because Neo woke up, he was put on a diversion and made into a savior to keep him distracted and prevent him from looking further. If he did analyze it, he would see he was still in the Matrix construct, hence why he can fly around and dodge bullets. Simulacron 3, also published as Counterfeit World by Daniel F. Galoye, is an American science fiction novel featuring an early literary description of a simulated reality. Simulacron 3 is the story of a virtual city for marketing research developed by scientists to reduce the need for opinion polls. The computer-generated city simulation is so well programmed that although the inhabitants have their own consciousness, they are unaware, except for one, that they are only electronic impulses in a computer. The simulator's lead scientist, Tannen Fuller, dies mysteriously, and a co-worker, Morton Lynch, vanishes. Douglas Hall is with Lynch when he vanishes, and Hall subsequently struggles to suppress his inchoate madness. As time and events unwind, he progressively grasps that his own world is probably not real and might only be a computer-generated simulation. In writing the Friedrich Paul short story The Tunnel Under the World, they have to tell us, don't they? Deals with like philosophic themes and satirical criticism of marketing research. Although in Paul's story, the described simulated reality is mechanical and intricate scale model whose inhabitants' consciousness resides in a computer, rather than being solely electronic, the Philip K. Dick story Time Out of Joint presents a man who's unaware that he is living his life in a physically simulated town until changes in his apparent reality begin to manifest themselves. Serial Experiments Lane is a 1998 Japanese anime television series. The series' 13 episodes were originally broadcast in 1998 and explore themes such as reality, identity, and communication through philosophy, computer history, cyberpunk, literature, and conspiracy theory. Lane herself is somewhat awkward, introverted, and socially isolated. However, the status quo of her life becomes upturned by a series of bizarre incidents that start to take place after she learns that girls from her school have received an email from a dead student, Chisa. Lane finds Chisa telling her that she's not dead but has merely abandoned her physical body and flesh and is alive deep within the virtual reality world of the Wired itself, where she has found the almighty and divine God. This is a common theme in these cyberpunk films. In Caprica, they use a VR headset called a holoband. A lot of people live inside V-World, and when this girl dies, her soul exists in V-World. It's similar as well to Tron and also Ready Player One. That Wade asked James Halliday, "You're not an avatar, are you?" And he said no, which means that his soul is in virtual reality world. Lane is caught up in a series of cryptic and surreal events that see her delving deeper into the mystery of the network in a narrative that explores the themes of consciousness, perception, and the nature of reality. The Wired is a virtual reality world that contains and supports the very sum of all human communication and networks, created with the telegraph, televisions, and telephone services, and expanded with the internet, cyberspace, and subsequent networks. The series assumes that the Wired could be linked to a system that enables unconscious communication between people and machines without physical interface. The storyline introduces such a system with the Schumann resonances, a property of the Earth's magnetic field that theoretically allows for unhindered, long-distance communications. If such a link were created, the network would become equivalent to reality as the general consensus of all perceptions and knowledge. The increasingly thin, invisible line between what is real and what is virtual digital begins to slowly shatter. As the series progresses, she eventually comes to discover that she is in reality merely an autonomous sentient computer program in the physical and corporeal form of a human being, designed to sever the invisible barrier between the Wired and the real world. In the end, Lane is challenged to accept herself as a de facto goddess for the Wired, having become an omnipotent and omnipresent virtual being with worshippers of her own, as well as an ability to exist beyond the borders of devices, time, or space, meaning that she learns she's an organic portal, and instead of becoming a conscious being, she chooses to merge with the machines, which is something that they're pushing now, transhumanism and fusing consciousness with the AI computer demon. I don't think transhumanism means what they tell us. Everyone is connected to the internet, so let's break this down. Enter to place a dead body into the earth or a tomb. Now you know what is a net. Look at number 6. Arrangements made for trapping or ensnaring somebody. Lane is standing in front of a fence, but the fence looks like a net. Some years ago, Freeman said that the 3 W's was Volve or 666, but I'm wondering if that's really true, because it looks like zigzags to me. I remembered Egyptian hieroglyphs. The symbol for N looks like that. New, uncreated God personification of the primordial waters. The zigzag symbol means water. I found that Hebrew has this symbol as well. Mem means water, chaos, and blood, and it's numbered 40. Incidentally, Ea's sacred number is 40. Ea is the god of fresh waters known as Apsu, on which the earth floats. He is a god of wisdom, farming, building, magic, arts, and crafts. Ea is attended by a god with 2 faces called Ismud, which probably connects to Janus, the 2-headed god, who guards doorways. I'm sure Paul mentioned this. The feminine side of Janus is Sibyl, who's holding this thing that looks like the trident of Neptune. Ea's symbols are the goatfish. I guess that's where you get the phrase, he or she drinks like a fish. One Sumerian myth is called Inanna and Anki, the Sumerian names for Ishtar and Ea. In the beginning of the story, Ea controls the May, which are the rules of the universe. One day, Anki and Inanna get drunk, and she tricks him into giving her the May. When Anki realizes that he's given the May away, he tries to recover them from Inanna, but Inanna takes the May back to her city. And it means the crafty little vixen nicked the frequencies from him. Ea is the god of water under the earth. You put a frequency on water and you get cymatics. You find the right frequency and you can open a portal. Ishtar is the portal goddess. Anki is god of the waters, wisdom, sculpture, architecture, crafts, master of magic, and the occult sciences. His Greek equivalent is Poseidon. Pisces is a water sign. It's ruled by Neptune. Greek equivalent, Poseidon. Roman equivalent, Neptune. So the zigzag called Mem, or is it May, means water. That made me think of the star sign Aquarius. The symbol is 2 zigzags. Aquarius is the water bearer. Keyword, network. And on your internet, you connect to a network. Network, a structure of crisscrossing cords, wires, etc. secured at the intersections, especially by knots. Enki has fish around him, bringing to mind the symbol for Pisces, the fish. This connects to the Nomos, the Dogon people, and Yoans, and it would do because Vul was the Sumerian god Ea, who was identified as Vul, the smith or Schmidt shaman of the Hebrews. Ea was portrayed as a Maru man or merman, part human, part fish. And because Ea oversees magic and occult sciences, it brought me back to John Dee. The Black Spirit Mirror and other magical objects are thought to have been owned by John Dee, the Elizabethan magician, astrologer, and mathematician. The mirror was a shrew stone, one of many polished and lustrous things used by Dee to carry out his occult research into the world of spirits. Dee worked with the medium and convicted criminal Edward Kelly to summon visions of angels into the mirror's reflective surface. The mirror, made of obsidian, was brought from Mexico to Europe between 1527 and 1530. Mirrors were used by Aztec priests to conjure visions and make prophecies. They were connected with Tezcatlipoca, god of obsidian and sorcery, whose name can be translated from the Nahuatl language as smoking mirror. Tezcatlipoca, god of the Great Bear constellation and of the night sky, one of the major deities of the Aztec pantheon. A protean wizard, Tezcatlipoca caused the death of many Toltecs by his black magic and induced the virtuous Quetzalcoatl to sin. Tezcatlipoca's nagual, or animal disguise, was the jaguar, the spotted skin of which was compared to the starry night sky. A creator god, Tezcatlipoca ruled over Ocelotunatu, the first of the four worlds that were created and destroyed before the present universe. Oh dear, was that a plasma reset? Maya Quiche people of Guatemala revered him as a lightning god under the name Hurricane. Other representations show Tezcatlipoca with his mirror on his chest. The most precious Aztec magic mirrors were crafted from obsidian, a rare natural volcanic glass. It was difficult to obtain sufficient quantities of appropriate quality to craft a mirror, and so such mirrors were used for spiritual uses only. More common Aztec mirrors are made of iron pyrite. The Aztec obsidian mirror is explicitly linked to the deity Tezcatlipoca. Tezcatlipoca observed everything in his obsidian mirror. Because of the destruction of the Aztec culture, we may never entirely know how these mirrors were used. What we do know is that they were used for divination and for interactive spiritual communication. The most famous belonged to Dr. John Dee and is now in the British Museum's collection. I've spoken about black mirrors. They were used by sorcerers to conjure demons and spirits. In Sumerian mythology, Galu are demons. They come out of portals. You've seen this in Snow White. The witch has a magic mirror that talks to her. Many films tell you that there are demons in mirrors, and I've revealed that iPhones, iPads, TVs, and laptops are black mirrors. The key of life was actually tones. Keys, tones, frequencies, vibrations, bells, or rings. This is a bell or a ring. What if you cut it in half? Looks like a Wi-Fi signal. If you drop something onto water, it ripples. It's a frequency on water. We're mostly water with Wi-Fi frequency hitting us. Why do you think it's making people fatigued and sick? They are encouraging humans to merge with technology, which I think is tacit consent to being a vehicle for these demons. I think the black mirrors, laptops, etc. are gateways to let demons through. I've previously discussed that. I think this is some sort of ancient sorcery or technology, maybe it's both, because this lot are techno mages. Bill Gateway is a techno mage. Steve Jobs is a techno mage. They were the ones that brought this to us. And where did they get it from? Which goes back to CERN, who opens portals everywhere, bringing these entities here, literally bringing these demons through portals. They've shown you that these entities are coming through portals. That's how they got here. People don't understand this techno craft, but it's being revealed, so you need to protect yourself.
Oh my gosh, I'm sorry.
Sorry. Holy Christ! Jesus!
Candyman.